The state of Florida has some of the strongest building codes in the country. That's all thanks in part after Hurricane Andrew. Live from Mexico Beach here in the Florida Panhandle. Just wanted to get a quick update. We're losing light. The sun's about to set. Beautiful night here in Mexico Beach. A stark contrast from the devastation that is all around me. I'm meteorologist Leslie Hudson, joining you from my house in Winter Park, Florida. So I hope that you guys can hear me okay. The internet is already getting very sketchy here in Central Florida, so I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can. Part of the problem with all of this water is that it's coming from all different directions. Now, we have water that's coming from Brevard County, which is over 100 miles south of here, and it flows all the way north to Jacksonville. Truth is, they still can surprise us. They still can create this level of devastation like Hurricane Dorian did. But now there's an opportunity to change the rulebook itself and perhaps fly drones at high altitudes to get ahead of these hurricanes. The ingenuity behind these pods has to do with their shape. This one behind me is cylindrical. The thinking is when an EF5 tornado comes roaring down your neighborhood. We have been in the Panhandle of just about 24 hours, and of course today the 1 week anniversary from Hurricane Michael making landfall right here. And it has been a deadly tornado outbreak. Unfortunately, we're going to get to all of that. Now, during the height of the storm, they knew they had to get the patients out of here quickly, so they came through the cafeteria, but the problem was the gurneys would not fit through, so they knocked down the walls here to get the patients safely out of harm's way and out through those double doors to safety. Thank you again, and good luck tonight. We will be watching you, and I can't wait.
The stars!
We can't wait.
Except in space, there's no sound.
All right, you guys.
We are here in Florida, in Orlando. We're doing it all right here in beautiful, beautiful, sunny Florida.
Heavy-duty rainfall, heavy downpours, small hail, lightning strikes.
Why do we think now? We came now to come to find.
That all let loose and then came in.
Finding a new normal after a natural disaster can be overwhelming. From losing everything to losing only some things and all of the gray area in between.
Stressful, big time. Yeah, I mean,
For many people like James Tunicliffe, starting over is mentally and physically exhausting.
I had to sleep in my car. And Friday, I come back here, and they said, when you come back, you want to, but you'll be at your own risk. So I said, I'm coming back. I don't have nowhere to go. I said, here, this is my home.
The Castaways Resort and Condominium is home to hundreds of Nicole evacuees. Late Sunday night, they got the welcome news they could come home. Many of them are on a tight budget and had to make tough decisions when they were told to leave. Now they have tougher choices on how they will come back.
It's been horrible here. Just day by day, take it day by day, you know.
You gotta dry these things out, you know what I mean?
Residents are running humidifiers day and night to try and dry out their carpets before mold sets in. Hot water and running elevators are creature comforts at this point. But for so many people impacted by Ian and Nicole, they have no choice but to stay put and hope there aren't any new issues with the seawall that collapsed around their condo.
The state of Florida has some of the strongest building codes in the country. That's all thanks in part after Hurricane Andrew. Even these seawalls, inspectors came out into Volusia County and checked them. They said these are some of the strongest seawalls they've also ever seen. But after Hurricane Ian came in and started to do some of the initial damage, it didn't take much for Nicole to come sweeping through here and just take out what Ian had left behind. Now you see all this rubble behind me, which was once a seawall, is a natural barrier until inspectors can get in here and rebuild those seawalls and get them in place. On September 1st, Hurricane Dorian's cataclysmic storm surge swallowed up this postcard in paradise, drawing a line in the sand between a changing climate and island living. And most Bahamians will tell you it's become a deal with the devil to live here.
I was actually fighting right here with the door, you know, to let the pressure out so that the roof doesn't go in.
Brendan Archer was making his own deal to ride out the storm in the hopes he'd have a home once it was all over.
After the pressure came so hard, your ears start to ring, you just try and loose, the door just slammed shut, and then when you just plop, everything just started going up.
And the deal paid off. Barely.
The ceiling in here was doing a roller coaster, just up and down, up and down.
Luck and topography would spare his home from Dorian's worst.
I already cleaned up this house, so now it's just now getting materials, finding ways of what I could do to make a couple of dollars to help patch things up until things start to fall in line. That's the Bahamian spirit, we're strong. I born here, I ain't going nowhere. My family was here from 1700s. That's way back, and we still have the Archer title from then till now. So I ain't got nowhere to go.
A 25-foot storm surge that fell short of Lyndon's home on a hill devastated the neighborhood below. The Mud was a shanty town built on top of an old lake that flooded into a mountain of mud. It was the most vulnerable spot to ride out the storm, and it's where most of the people died.
You're coming into the ground zero of Hurricane Dorian.
Wayne Neely is a Bahamian meteorologist who's written 14 books on island hurricanes. He's considered the foremost hurricane hunter in this part of the world. He's come to Marsh Harbor to hunt down Dorian's DNA.
As we walk through this, you hear the crunch. There's a stench here that smells
It's unmistakable, yes.
It smells like death.
Yes, it is. And it's from dead bodies. You also have dead animals, the dogs, the cats. There was no match because they couldn't go anywhere. This area was flooded, it was engulfed in water.
This is our living room.
The colors of Ian's catastrophic imprint roll across parts of Florida in so many different ways.
Welcome to the landing.
But make no mistake, Ian's unwelcome visit in Central Florida continues to punctuate its storm signature with epic flooding more than a week after it made landfall in southwest Florida.
We saw flood lines. We knew that it was going to come. And flood lines were down at the bottom of my window, which is here. So we never thought that much more would ever happen.
You want to do a dump real quick on the trailer?
We can.
Yeah.
These families are veteran hurricane survivors. They've weathered Faye, Charlie, and then Irma.
That has never flooded. It's here. That has never flooded. And right now it's about 3 feet over the land. And my concern right now is the wind-driven chop on the lake busting out my windows and getting more damage into the house.
But Ian would leave all of them, well, stunned and speechless.
I lost everything in my house. Everything's upside down.
We have been in the Panhandle just about 24 hours, and of course today the 1-week anniversary from Hurricane Michael making landfall right here in this city. And joining me now is one of the folks that lived right here at the marina in Panama City, and this is Gary Cooper, and Gary is going to explain to us how things went on while he was here. He did evacuate, he's fine, his wife is fine, but he's got some stories that are pretty incredible. So Gary, take me back to last week and leading up to the hurricane and what was going on.
Well, last week we saw the hurricane on the Weather Channel and all the channels tracking it, and we knew it was getting bad. Kept intensifying, and 2 days before it came in here, we had a mandatory evacuation in my building, and we got out. And I lived right there on the 13th floor, where I had a beautiful view of the whole marina in the area, and we got out. Which was good because it was coming. But the silver lining's got to be that we rebuild and be better than ever. I mean, they'll probably rebuild all this marina, of course, and a lot of Panama City have to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Well, you've been fantastic, Gary. Thank you so much. We appreciate your spirit and your time. We know that you're busy, and this is just one of many people we're going to talk to you guys over the next couple of days and talk to the survivors and again how they're going to rebuild. We want to thank Gary Cooper joining us. Can't forget his name. And look for more info later today on social media. You guys will have some more stories to tell you here in the next coming days. For now, I am meteorologist Leslie Hudson reporting live from Panama City Beach.
You can hear all the debris hitting first, and it just kept getting louder and louder and louder. Then your ears start popping, and you just hear all the destruction going on.
There's just a definite roar.
Roar, right? And then all of a sudden it just stopped.
It took just 30 seconds to instantly change the lives of Sarah Beth and Kevin Harrison, along with their 2 young children, forever. Their entire home was wiped off the map. The only part left standing was their storm shelter.
But yeah, it was just devastating just to see, everything just completely destroyed and your whole life kind of laid out there. But we were happy to be alive and thankful that, we were safe.
The April 2011 tornado super outbreak across the Deep South was part of a 3-day tornado outbreak that was one of the largest, deadliest, and most destructive tornado outbreaks in U.S. history. It killed more than 300 people, injuring nearly 2,800, and created more than $12 billion in damages, making it the costliest tornado outbreak in U.S. history as well. All told, there were 343 tornadoes over that 3-day period, with 207 tornadoes on April 27th alone. 4 of those tornadoes were EF5s, the most deadly. The last decade has featured season after season of multiple tornado outbreaks. Just this year alone, there have been nearly 200 tornadoes on the ground, and 12 people have been killed. And since St. Patrick's Day, there have been 2 large-scale tornado outbreaks in the southeast, with over 65 tornadoes in less than 10 days. So in a season of more tornadoes and more victims in their paths, experts across the country are venturing into the storms to figure out what makes you and your home most vulnerable.
So the question is, does Florida freak out when it's cold outside?
Weather is never better. It is too hot, getting fed up. Mr. Cold, I'm never home. I'm gonna go so low, now you know. Yeah, I know you can relate. Freddy stacking bread, I got a lot up on my plate.